This is super easy. We're gonna stretch our shrimp dollar with some pasta, and you can throw it together in like 15 to 20 minutes or less. So let's get cooking, shall we? Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a shortcut. Excuse me, I'm getting all choked up. We've got some red pepper flakes out here, so a little bit of water. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little salt. Always salt your pasta water. And then I'm doing angel here because I love, it really soaks up this buttery sauce. It also cooks very, very quickly. So it's one of those things when you need to get dinner on the table in a hurry. My pasta of choice is angel here because it cooks in like 5 minutes or less. And again, what I love about this recipe is we have shrimp, but we don't need a ton of it because the sauce is going to be so buttery and rich, and then we're going to stretch it with our pasta. So it's one of those recipes that you pay like 35 bucks for out at a restaurant. You can make it at home for a fraction of that. And I know groceries are so expensive these days, and we're all trying to watch our pennies, especially during the holidays when money's flying out the door and it's like, oh my gosh, one more thing. But you know, you want to treat the family to something special. You want to have your guests over and make something special. This is the perfect answer. Okay, so my pasta is boiling. Now I'm going to melt a boatload of butter. This is a really buttery, delicious, kind of indulgent recipe. So you want to use about a stick of butter, or even a little bit more. But the butter is really the star of the show. It's really the sauce, you know, it's a buttery, light, wonderful sauce. So now the other thing we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different. And this is a shallot. And a shallot is like a very light onion flavor, and it's something that I rarely buy, I rarely use, but when I do, it just adds some, you know, a little bit of a different flavor that I'm not expecting. So we are going to do quite a bit of garlic in here, but the shallot in here is going to be that something something, and the shallot's super inexpensive. I mean, I don't know, 50 cents. So it's just a great way to change up your flavor, and I'm just going to kind of give it a little dice. That with the garlic, it's going to really give this dish some nice flavor. Okay. And it's up to you if you want a little more chunky, if you want a little more finely diced. I kind of like the look of it. Kind of looks like a light red onion, but it just has a unique flavor. It's not as strong of an onion flavor as onion is. Okay, I'm going to crank up my... We got some new appliances. We're still waiting for our oven, but we got a new cooktop from Bitter Newman, and you know, when you're figuring out a new cooktop, it's always a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so the next thing we've got is some garlic, and I'm going to do, these happen to be really big cloves, so maybe about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. Really just depends on how much garlic you like. I always say when people are eating garlic, it cancels each other out. So, but you don't want it to completely take over. There is such a thing, I think, as too much garlic, especially when it comes to seafood, because you want to be able to taste the shrimp, you want to be able to taste the butter, you don't want to taste all garlic. So about 3 to 4 cloves, I would say. And this you can either put through a garlic press, and I know my good friend Catherine at Seasoned to Taste has all sorts of great gadgets for that, chopping garlic, or I'm just going to do it by hand. And I'm going to get my garlic in there with the butter and the shallot. Really important when you're cooking with fresh garlic. If we burned the garlic and it was too high of a heat, that would ruin the entire dish. What do we have over here? Garlic, get in there. So it's kind of a nice balance. You want it warm, but you don't want it too hot. We don't want to burn it, and keep it moving. The big thing is keep it moving. All right, come on, stove, do your thing. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. Just a dab will do you, about 1/4 to 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's just going to add a little bit of flavor. It will not be spicy at all unless you want it to be. I don't want my, you know, for me, shrimp scampi is all about a nice butter garlic flavor. So I don't really like this real spicy, and you could certainly leave it out. So for the shrimp, really important to use uncooked, peeled shrimp, peeled and deveined shrimp. I normally buy it frozen. You can use a ½ pound up to a pound for this recipe. You don't need the jumbo prawns. You can use whatever size shrimp is in your budget. It's up to you. Do you want the tail on for presentation, or do you want it off? That's completely up to you. It's going to taste great no matter what. All right, let me check on my pasta. I don't want to overcook my angel here, so I'm going to be done with that. And get that off the heat and just drain it in my colander. Okay, pasta done. I told you that was a really quick cook. And now we're going to add our shrimp. And I'm just going to kind of place the shrimp around the pan. I don't want to overcrowd it, just like you were cooking chicken. So just kind of, I'm going to use some tongs here. There we go. We're starting to get a little bit of a simmer. If you could smell this at home right now, oh my goodness gracious, smells amazing. I do like to see how I'm just kind of putting the shrimp so it's not overlapping to one layer. And it cooks very, very quickly. All right, there we go. Kind of spread it out. I'm using about 1 pound of shrimp and then a little salt and pepper just to give that shrimp a little bit of flavor. Freshly ground black pepper. And then not only is this dish about the butter and the garlic, it's also about some really lovely lemon flavor. So I'm using both lemon zest and fresh lemon juice. So using the old microplane, I like to do it just that zest right over the shrimp. Smelling this and getting real happy. And now we're going to do some, I like it really nice and lemony. And again, that zest is a way to pump up the lemon flavor. And of course, lemon works so wonderful with fish. All right, I'm going to give that a little flip, my shrimp, because I don't want to overcook it. And it's just when it starts to turn pink. We're getting to the finish line here. Okay, I'm getting excited for the holidays. I'm also getting a little nervous. Is anybody else in the same boat? I love this time of year, but I feel like I'm a little behind. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. And yeah, it's kind of like that little bit of a stressful time. We tried to just decompress a little bit and relax a little bit this weekend, but still in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, there's only 40 more packages to ship, and you get the drift, cards to mail, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of one of those things. It's all about balance. I played tennis yesterday, and whew, did I need that for some stress relief. And I don't know if, well, do you ever get it all done? I'm not sure about that. So at a certain point, you just got to be like, well, it's as much as it's going to get done. All right, so lots of fresh lemon juice. And the last thing I'm going to do is chop up some fresh parsley. And that's really important to this dish too. It's a very simple dish. There's not a lot of ingredients, but all of them really work together. And that parsley is just something nice and fresh to put in the sauce. Now I like to add my pasta to the dish so that my pasta really soaks up all that buttery goodness. You could also do this with just crusty bread if you didn't want to do the pasta. You could soak up the sauce that way. It's all going to be wonderful, but I'm going to take that pasta and get it right in there and really give that a nice coating with the butter and the shrimp, and add some of that parsley. And I love to serve this, like I said, with some nice crusty bread and a salad. And coming up, I'm going to make a big festive holiday salad. And this turns out to be one heck of a delicious but budget-friendly holiday dinner idea. And we'll put the recipe for this on the website.